let me do the intros. I'll tell you guys about what needs to happen here and how, or where, score lines, etc. for players to get first in the group. So again, these two are already out of the group in some position. As in the top left, our blue Terran player from Sidestone Gaming is GuMiho. In the bottom right, our red Terran is this Shopify Rebellion ByuN. So they're both out of the group. They will both advance. The question simply remains to be, in what place will they advance? So ByuN is 3-0, GuMiho is 2-1, and Nightmare are 2-2. So that's the scorelines right now. ByuN is 6-1, GuMiho 4-3, and Nightmare 5-6. What I believe that means is if that, or if ByuN wins if ByuN wins at all, he's obviously first place in the group. If GuMiho wins 2-0, he would be 3-1, 6-3. And ByuN would be 3-1, 6-3, and GuMiho would have the head-to-head. But if GuMiho only wins 2-1, he would be 6-4, ByuN would be 7-3, and ByuN would have the map score advantage, and that would be the difference between them. So, yes, basically between ByuN and GuMiho is basically ByuN needs a map and he wins the group and goes in first place into the playoffs. Second place for GuMiho if he loses a map. Well, what happens for GuMiho versus Nightmare, I suppose? Worst case scenario, GuMiho gets 2-0'd. He would be 4-5. That's -1. Nightmare's 5-6. That's -1. 4-5, 5-6, -1, -1. So it goes head to head, and then Nightmare has the. GuMiho has the head to head against Nightmare anyway. Oh yeah, so even if GuMiho gets 2-0'd here, he would still get second place. So basically, it's the difference of just one map, and that's it. One map win for ByuN, and he is first place in this group. GuMiho is second, and Nightmare is third. That is already decided. Cool. You guys think it's too bright? That's what they were saying as well in the game. Yeah. Quick CC from GuMiho. Down onto the natural as we get that up and running. Let's get that underway initially. Seeing how this is gonna go, get this set up and see how this best of 3 turns out. So that's the, like I say, one map win for ByuN, and he's first place in the group. He'll be our first play in the playoffs because we didn't actually decide Group A yet because we still have a couple matches left to cast in that. We'll be doing that on Sunday. Again, basically, instead of, we have 4 groups, but we basically play them over 5 days. Each group has their own day. We save a couple of series from each group, and we cast that on the Sunday to make a 5th group day. Just give us some extra day of StarCraft, but sometimes 10 best of 3s can be rather intense. I mean, today, 10 best of 3s is going to be taking us over 6 hours, almost 6.5 hours, right? So it can get a little bit intense. However, some days yesterday was just super crazy. Like, today was fine, 6 hours is long, but it's not too long. Yesterday was super crazy. So to make up for yesterday, we're going to do all the matches today, and that means we don't basically put extra work on us on Sunday, basically, is the plan, or the idea at the very least. Filling out down the bottom, the Cyclone and a Reaper just going to be pushing out the front, and an Orbital Command is going to start warping in right here, getting that up and running. Going to be seeing this medevac boosting across with the Cyclone inside of it, going to be coming through and just going to be heading to that upper left-hand side. So moving away with this, the reactor coming down on the barracks and just going to be seeing 2 Cyclones together. Loading up, we'll move in toward the main base here very soon. Just going to be trying to make their way forward. Raven is going to get locked onto and shot down pretty much immediately, so that gets cleaned out as the Cyclones get into the main. I mean, GuMiho is the one who took that initial set of damage as well. So 5 SCVs dropping early and now taking even further damage on the natural expansion. I mean, GuMiho on the main base also in trouble too. I mean, ByuN is just all over him right now. GuMiho is also across the map with Hellions though, so he will get some counter damage done. And there's no wall into ByuN's main. Uh-oh. Well, there's a tank out, auto turret dropping. How many SCVs die on both sides becomes the question. 13 each so far. Cyclones are back, low HP. Viking here. Well, can we actually And I guess you go for the medevac, and now the tank pops out. These cyclones get cleaned up. 19 to 18 dead workers so far. Okay, okay. Aliens continue through. SCVs taking some extra damage, and that is going to be these SCVs continuing to drop off, and just going to be having ourselves the Marines and a tank chasing down the Reaper Hellion as well. So, okay, wow, that was a a hell of a startup. 13 workers left versus 19. That's the difference between the two of them. It's equal workers killed across the board. ByuN's just been better at building more. GuMiho has a third he didn't cancel that is still in production. And army supplies are pretty even. 2 Ravens, though, from ByuN is going to be a pretty major advantage. He'll be on 3 Ravens while GuMiho gets to his first. That definitely creates problems further down the line. That's something which is definitely an issue. So do have the Raven heading up that left-hand side then. And it definitely just seems ByuN has the overall advantage. And he's actually going to start pushing maybe. He brings his 2 tanks to the front. With the Raven lead that he has, if he goes with 3 Ravens against the 1, he might just be able to bully his way into any position he wants to be in, you know? There might just be no stopping him at all in that kind of a situation, so that's a real possible threat. That's a real possibility for sure. So we've seen our teams pressing forward here. These couple tanks going to be in some trouble, and do you think that ByuN just kind of blustered this attack, that bumbled that attack? That was not really it. And ByuN's going to GG out on the back end of that. Wow. Hang on a second. That's kind of funky. So, ByuN just completely... First of all, he's just moving in. He doesn't really utilize his Ravens that well. He drops down the auto turrets, but a tank in the back... Like, these auto turrets aren't on top of the tanks. So they're taking damage. One auto turret comes back. He doesn't siege his own tanks. Wow, what a way for this to fall apart. And ByuN is actually still up on workers behind this. He's still up by 8 SCVs. And he leaves the game. I mean, GuMiho does have a 3rd CC. But I wonder if ByuN didn't quite know the situation he was in there. That was meant to quickly sort out what I need to sort out, guys. So just give me one moment. Apologies for this. It's because today went kind of long. I just need to do something quickly. Obviously, in the bottom right-hand side is going to be our blue term player GuMiho from Storm Gaming. As in the top left, our red Terran from the Shopify Rebellion is ByuN. Okay, sorry, I'll just be another couple moments. Nearly done. And then we can cast properly. I'm sure you guys put up with me, like I said, just a long day. I need to just get something set up to make sure everything is good. And basically, I just didn't do my YouTube video earlier in the day, so just doing it now to, like I say, make sure it's done and out on time. It's meant to go live in 1 minute, you know, so don't mind me just setting up the ads, making sure we're going to make the YouTube monies. And then we'll hype up ByuN and GuMiho a little bit more here on Centuries Later. This map we saw earlier today was actually really cool. I actually kind of like this one. So excited to see a little bit more of it. Last button I need to click. Perfect. Alright guys, thank you for that. So, Curious Minds. Centuries Later, not Curious Minds, is our map here, and we're going to have ByuN top left, GuMiho bottom right. Again, GuMiho with a 2-0 wins the group. So, GuMiho with a 2-0 will win the group, and ByuN will finish second, and that is the difference of going to the round of 8 directly or having to play in the round of 12. So, kind of a big deal over here. A bigger deal than what one might expect or what you usually end up on. It comes in, a couple grenades going down to start us off there. Obviously, as well, just to mention, the prize money is top 8 is 175, top 12 125. So basically, guaranteeing yourself an extra $50, and you don't have to worry, like mentioned, about the concept of playing a round of 12 matchup, which helps you out more than anything else, I'd imagine. So let's talk about the map a little bit. This map's kind of cool because it has the third base, which you can actually access from the main if you mine out these minerals. These are 200 minerals. So they are kind of, it's not an easy mine out. It's not like you can mine this out early in the game and attack through it. It does kind of create a reinforcement line from your main to your third very quickly, and that's kind of funky. I like it. I wonder how it works, honestly. I'd love to see someone actually mine it out and to see that stage of the game develop, because that seems kind of fanciful to me. There's a rich Vespene in the center that's obviously exposed by being just pointing outwards to the middle of the map, so unlikely we see that being taken a lot, and that's typically the setup here. So that's how we get going. You can see the Reaper jump up spot is really far away as well, right over here. So if you jump out here, it's a massive rotation back to the front. That's something to keep in mind as well. When you see Hellions going to fight each other right now over on this side, and they are going to clash in and not really see either player kind of coming out ahead or behind on that. Just going to see that reactor on the starport is going to complete, or start at least, sorry. And the Hellions continue back ahead up. Raven still coming through. Stimpack is a building as well. And the barracks number 2 in the main base also about to be done. This map's beautiful. You love the textures. Yeah, I think this map's great as well. I forgot that we actually didn't see it yesterday. So this was our first time seeing it earlier today. And hoping for... I really want to see this base be taken. I really want to see just units rallying down here, like through the, through this ramp or so. I feel like that's a fascinating concept, right? That's really, really cool. And to make up for it as well, I think is, this right side is kind of exposed, so you do have a more exposed sort of area because of it. So, like I said, I kind of like it. Like, it's weird, it's different, but it's kind of funky. All the new maps look good. Yeah, I honestly do think this tournament has the best maps we've ever had in the TLMC. Like, just in terms of overall quality, like, every map feels really good. And, I mean, I always think the maps look beautiful, but, I mean, some of the maps have outdone themselves this time around, I swear down. Map makers, you got to give yourself some pats on the back. You guys know how to make things beautiful. Stim about to be done here from GuMiho, so he's playing a much faster kind of 3 racks than Stim. That's kind of interesting, right? Because it means that ByuN is going to be very behind on Stim, and just on bio production in general. The Cloakless Banshee shows up, SCVs will repair each other, try and minimize damage taken. 3 SCVs go down. That Banshee, in a big way, is kind of meant to be defensive initially, but obviously at some point you just don't really need it, so you just use it to attack. As ByuN was moving through the center here, is now going to stop. So we've seen our tank in the back has already sieged up. That one gets Matrix though, so ByuN's going to get a jump on this army. Continuing through with extra Marines on his side to buffer. And a couple of Hellions going down. Now moving up this ramp again. The moment a tank sieges, you just see the Interference Matrix going down. That tank will die, and now we get the tank sieging up on the side of ByuN. And he will start a fire through. 13, 14 SCVs killed. This should be the end of this here now. I don't think there's anything else to be really done about this, as the Cyclone gets cleaned out and the last Marine falls. 17 workers killed, and ByuN's going to put himself in a fantastic starting spot once again. I mean, this was just a case of him taking advantage of the fact he built Ravens and GuMiho did not. GuMiho built a Banshee. He went into the extra barracks really quickly. By skipping over the Ravens, you are going to be vulnerable to someone who uses Raven energy and abilities against you. ByuN's having a bit of a worker strike at the moment. These guys are, they ain't happy with their working conditions, but I don't know if it's so extreme they want to die. But yeah, they well, yeah, it's a bit of a mistake. But yeah, I mean, GuMiho just in trouble and didn't build the Ravens himself, really put himself in that position. He gave ByuN that opportunity to make that attack happen. So, yeah, a couple of SCVs missed rally. That doesn't exactly change the massive worker lead that we've got in the game. As GuMiho right now has Stim and combat shields over his opponent and +1. Now, Stim's about to finish from ByuN, but if he could find a way in, maybe there is a way for him to take a fight to even this out. I don't think so overall. I don't think ByuN would let him get a way in, but in theory, it's not impossible given the current setup. Okay, guys, like, it's not impossible. That's the good news. Medevac's loading up, and we'll move their way to the left-hand side. So away they go, and just going to be seeing those couple Medevacs going to come boosting through the natural. I They're going to work their way to the left as well as we scan out. And oh, this was kind of cute. ByuN actually tried to fake out that the drop didn't move by unloading in the corner, but then he ran a couple of Marines back into the scan, so maybe it was spotted. As these tanks will siege up, a couple of SCVs go down. Just going to be seeing our Vikings firing away on the medevac. Get some decent damage there as 1-1 upgrades, combat shield, all of that still coming into play. And just going to be seeing our starport getting set up at the moment. The army from GuMiho sets up, the Vikings come along, going to grab a medevac, and just going to be seeing the tank firing up a Storm Marine's going to take quite a bit of damage, and just going to be seeing this army of ByuN now moving forward. He's going to get up to that high ground, and on the right-hand side, the medevac can unload a few of those Marines. They're going to be popping out as we see the Marines of ByuN chasing the medevac and Marines into the center of the map now. So in they go. ByuN chasing this out. I mean, GuMiho is caught up on workers. I mean, there's little things that are, he's behind in still. For example, 2-2 starting up from ByuN. He's still behind 10 army supply or so. But overall, I gotta say, I'm kind of impressed that GuMiho is caught up at all. GuMiho put himself in a decent spot then to maybe get back into it. You never know in TvT, right? One fight goes very badly for your opponent, and you really can take a step back into the game from there. So, definitely possible as we continue through. Medevacs will go boosting up to the top side. All of the Marines from ByuN continuing across. They're just going to continue to stim along and just going to have Marines of GuMiho trying to fight back. The tank of GuMiho sieges now unsieges. Continue to press forward here. One tank already gets taken down. The medevac gets shot at by the Vikings. It just about manages to escape away. And we'll see another scan coming out into the center. Just going to be having this army of ByuN wanting to go for that push forward into the base of GuMiho. Vikings want to try and grab that first medevac at the front. ByuN still keeping up the pressure as he hedges himself forward here. Closer and closer to that army of his opponent. Just going to get a few shots off. This is where air control is very nice. And obviously you can't really contest it with your medevacs because your medevacs are already low. The last thing you want to do is have these medevacs being shot down. Already a bunch of them went down though, and now these Marines are going to go and jump on this. Now GuMiho has a lot of units across the map. He might initiate a base trade and just try and somehow, kind of fix this game for himself, basically. ByuN's kind of running ahead of himself here as well. He ran a lot of the Marines up there without the tank support. ByuN has a lot of units across the map. If he's tank siege, he shouldn't really be in trouble, because obviously GuMiho is the one that would have to push in. This game's still a lot closer than I initially thought it was going to be, based on how it all got started off, though, so definitely a factor as Marines try and stem in on the left-hand side. Tank will kill tank over on the top left, and just going to be seeing Marines continuing through, looking for more of these SCVs. 7 workers going down. GG from GuMiho. ByuN is going to tie it up 1-1, and that means that ByuN is guaranteed now first place in the group. Map of the day, the final map of Group B. In the bottom right corner, our blue Terran player from Sidestorm Gaming, it is GuMiho. Taking on the red Terran from the Shopify Rebellion in the top left, it is ByuN. Missed any of the matches from the Team Liquid Map Contest Tournament, you can check that out over on the VODs, !VODs in the chat will give you the link that you're looking for, and you can work from there, so do check it out, and yeah, have some fun. I had some great games today. We had really good games yesterday, by the way, guys. If you weren't here yesterday games were incredible. Long, drawn out, back and forth action on all of these new maps. It was really, really good, so I would highly advise you go and check that out if you did not already. You see a couple of racks producing, so ByuN going to go for the 2 racks, and Well, at least he did this against ByuN earlier, and it was kind of a free win based on ByuN's greedy build. But this is going to be a, a second gas coming up from GuMiho, so nothing too crazy there. And he should be okay against a 2 Rax Reaper kind of opening, so this shouldn't be too problematic to start out with. It should be kind of manageable as we do have the barracks about to complete. Yeah, we just get this underway. Reaper gonna get going as well. See where we move to. Let's see if he continues across the map, and that's going to be seeing the first Reaper coming through as well then. Again, we'll see 2 of them together diving into the base here very shortly, and we'll see how successful that can be. See how well that turns out. Just on a fight, and already getting 1 SCV. The Reaper obviously staying away from trouble. Now Reaper goes down, hit by the SCV as it just stayed around too long. 2 SCV kills, but yeah, a little bit messier than you would have wanted that to be. So losing 1 Reaper is always a shame, and now that's going to take away a lot of your continued power, as GuMiho should just be able to come down here and expand factory. A little bit later from ByuN, of course, because he invested into double Rax and double Reaper from there, so his money is caught up elsewhere. He is now going to have 2 Reapers versus a Reaper and a Hellion after the fight started off. Reaper for Reaper. Good micro back from GuMiho as ByuN is in trouble. This Reaper's going to go down. Ooh, well, I mean, Hellion should be able to chase it for the kill. And ByuN does not find a good start to this game at all. So ByuN starts off playing from behind. Not a pretty start. Like mentioned, it's going to be a little bit of a tough one to draw yourself back out from. We'll see how he does with it, or see how he manages to do that. You have the Reaper continuing up the top left-hand side as Reaper and the Hellion continuing through. You see a little bit of action starting out, and you have the single Reaper of ByuN being chased down a little bit as well. So this is actually, like I say, good start from GuMiho. Deals with kind of ByuN's pressure, and in the end, I mean, you can just see the investment that ByuN's lost out. And he's now lost 6 Reapers in this game versus the 3, and that's just 150 extra gas that ByuN doesn't have to play with. The starport is faster from GuMiho too, so you'll be quicker into all of those bits and pieces. So that is a pretty big deal. That will be continuing here shortly. So, like I say, kind of an exciting time. We'll have this 1 Rax from ByuN. We'll go into the main base to scout a little bit and try and get a bit of a look-see as to what is going on. Like I said, guys, it's kind of a shame because this map doesn't really mean much right now. I mean, nice that we get to see an extra map, don't get me wrong, but the group is decided. Even if ByuN wins here, even if GuMiho wins here, he just can't overtake ByuN on map score. So that means that, GuMiho had to have a 2-0 in this series to make up for other scores on the day. And, unfortunately, that just doesn't happen. So, yeah, unfortunately for GuMiho, it's even if he wins this, doesn't make too much of a difference, but a bit of a confidence booster. And again, GuMiho will be going to the playoffs, guaranteed in 2nd place. Nightmare in 3rd place of the group, and ByuN will be advancing out in 1st. Full Marines and the Cyclone. Able to come through there, taking that barracks down. The Liberator will start to move out onto the map as well. Moving across with that, the Liberator just moving down to the south. And again, Reaper, Cyclone, Hellion, all of this joining up together here from GuMiho. Get this started. Then we'll try and put a Lib into the main. I mean, he's just behind on army supply. Worker count is fine. And, he's actually going to have his 2nd and 3rd racks finishing too, so he's actually ahead on production structures as well. So actually, ByuN's not in a bad spot because he's behind on army now, but he'll probably be catching up a little bit now that he's obviously going, like I say, these extra barracks are finishing already. That's 5 Marines at a time versus 1 Marine at a time. However, it does also mean that GuMiho is building more siege tanks. You can see ByuN is building, he hasn't got a tank on the map, and he's just now finishing his tech lab. So a little bit of a difference there, and GuMiho does have the only Raven that's on the map too. We've already seen the power of Ravens versus no Ravens today. Yes, this is only 1 versus 0, but can absolutely still be influential. So don't discount that. Don't discount the Raven, basically, as we see the Reaper Hellion and Cyclone out to the left side. Extra units coming across from GuMiho, and just going to be seeing the units putting some pressure on. That Cyclone is going to drop down dead. Reaper Hellions back up the top, and more units of GuMiho still pushing across the other side here. As we are going to be seeing the single Marine gets taken down. Hellions and a Reaper pick that off. And, well, a couple of medevacs off ByuN are going to move down the left-hand side. Just going to see the tank siege, and then just going to be going in for the reactor. Now the Tech Lab taking a bit of a beating. That's combat shield denied. That's a major lead for GuMiho. That's a big win. Especially in a game where he's going very slowly himself into any further tech. And I guess at this point I'm almost tempted to say it could be mech, right? You know, he's building a couple of Liberators. He really wants to kind of double down on this current attack that he's got going on. If he wants to play Bio from here, it's going to be very late. And oh my god, what an attack from ByuN. He gets so much done with a Liberator and just a few and a Hellion, 10 SCV kills. He's also in the main base with a drop that's doing damage. So ByuN gets 16, 18 workers. Marines still alive. Will think about dropping on the tank. Could have dropped on the SCVs there as they stacked, and maybe the friendly fire would have blown up some SCVs. ByuN still has to work his way out of trouble over here, though. Both the Liberator is sieging up, and now he has not really the anti-air to deal with that. So yes, GuMiho's taking mega damage, but so is ByuN across the map. GuMiho's standing army is stronger, but it's now stim against no stim. Honestly, stim on these Marines makes a world of differences. GuMiho, how are we going to approach this? I feel like GuMiho should take these libs and siege them on top of the production structures right now. Get shots off on anything else that spawns. I feel like anything else is almost a waste, as ByuN needs to think about what he wants to do, how far forward he wants to press in with these Marines. He really wanted the orbital, but he won't get it. His own orbital is obviously a bit of a goner. I did see the libs pushing a bit further forward here, and, well, Vikings are out from ByuN. Not enough of them, I don't think, though. One of the libs goes down, though. So will the second one. That's huge, but we will take down the tanks with the auto turrets. That allows GuMiho to maybe move up into the main base. There is one tank out at the moment. I think that should be it. With the correct vision, GuMiho should be able to get rid of this factory over on that left-hand side. GuMiho's natural, obviously forced back into the main. We did actually see this CC of ByuN surviving, and these SCVs now will be able to escape because GuMiho's focused so much on pressing into the main. ByuN will gain mining on the third location. He'll be able to stack up some money. He's building Marines out in the corner. Marines with no combat shield, though, so running into these tanks is going to be very difficult. I don't know if ByuN's going to be able to run into these tanks, but that is pretty much got to be his plan, as the one base GuMiho still has full saturation in the main as well, so it's not that much of an issue. As we see the Vikings want to get the other Viking, they get it, but he loses 2 Vikings in the meantime. Marines able to get rid of the Vikings, so, I mean, good job from ByuN, at least making something out of that. The Liberators are going to press a little bit further forward, and this slow siege into ByuN's main continues to go in favor of GuMiho, it feels like, and I just don't know what you're going to do to break out of this. SCVs were thinking about pulling. That was not the moment, apparently. Tank took a shot it maybe didn't need to take. We'll siege it up one more time. Problem is, there's no extra tank on the way or anything. What is your eventual plan? Just having enough Marines? He's just buying time, right? The more Marines he gets out right now, the better he believes his chances are to actually make this work. This tank's going to die. I'm not even sure if that matters, because I'm not sure it's about the tank anymore. I feel like it's about the Marine count. The tank is maybe forcing the libs to siege more slowly forward, but ByuN is going to have one move here very soon. He's actually building barracks down over here as well to try and re-establish control. Let's see what he can do as we do see these tanks. Here we go. This is the moment. ByuN is going to try and break him. SCVs pull forward. First 2 tanks will go down. The one Viking will try and make his way through the Liberator. The Raven drops an auto turret in. One tank on that low ground. The Marines are going to get through this. The tank goes down. The Liberator dies. Oh my goodness. ByuN is going to break out. He kills off that Viking, and he's going to chase the Raven. Oh no, GuMiho's going to realize, uh-oh, the mining over here. Drops an auto turret down and try and slow it down. And of course, ByuN is also going to have his opponent mining GuMiho in the natural once again, and he's got a bunch of tanks ready to go once more, and I don't think GuMiho is actually in trouble just because ByuN broke out. But it might draw this game out a lot, because obviously ByuN has got the upgrade lead in a big way. He's got Stim, he's got 1-1 very soon, at least +1 already. +1 armor is finishing shortly. Well, Vikings coming out from GuMiho, so they're getting set up and just going to be seeing these medevacs going across the map from ByuN to try and do something here. I mean, he's down 15 workers. He's the one that needs to make a play, but the tank coverage of GuMiho's base is good, and if he can just catch up on the upgrades, that's the one thing he's lacking in at the moment. It's been a really... It just... messy game between the two of them, right? Not quite. I don't know if messy's the right word. I guess maybe like they've just been skirmishing a lot, right? Lots of little fights. We'll see. Kind of crazy situation. As medevac goes down, I think ByuN might be considering leaving, losing that medevac. GuMiho just comes out of this in a stronger setup, guys. He really does. Like I say, it's kind of sad this one map doesn't mean anything because GuMiho will not be able to beat ByuN when it comes to map score. So even winning this, they'll both be 3-1 in the group, but GuMiho will not have the map score to overtake ByuN. So this the actual result of this one map doesn't make any difference in the group. ByuN is first, GuMiho is second, and Nightmare is third. ByuN's going to tap out. The players didn't know this at the time, just to be clear as well. It's one of the benefits of playing half the matches live, half the matches at replay, is that the players don't know at the time when they are out or not, because they don't know the results of the other half of the matches, right? It's not like they're looking at this saying, oh, this doesn't matter at all, right? It's 1-1, whatever. They don't know, so they genuinely will try their best because it might still make the difference. So it's kind of fun for us, and that's why we see such crazy games still.